Today, we're going to answer the question, what is love? We have songs about it, we have books, TV shows, movies about it, we have poems and artwork and holidays about it. But what is love really? I want to explore the answer to this question because I honestly believe we get it wrong most of the time, myself included. And if we can't answer the question, what is love? Then how do we expect to fully give it or receive it? So let's talk about it. Do you feel completely broken? Are you facing obstacles like depression, anxiety, addiction, divorce, grief, or all of the above? And you're awake at night wondering how you're going to overcome it all? Well, I'm glad you're here. Welcome to the Broken to Blessed podcast. Here you'll gain strength, encouragement, and victory as you learn how to fight your battles the right way, not with your flesh, but with scripture, prayer, and God on your side. Hi there, I'm Randy, a work in progress. My battles have been many, from addiction to depression, and most recently, divorce. I've felt lost and broken and wondered how I was going to survive. But God is bigger than our problems, and if you're walking a dark season, know that there is peace that passes all understanding, even in the midst of our storms. The pain is only temporary. God will not leave you in the valley or let the fire consume you. No matter what you're facing, He will hold you up with His righteous right hand. You, friend, are redeemed. So don't lose heart and don't give up. God's going to make your life crazy good as we go from broken to blessed. Let's do this. Hello! Hope you are well. If you're listening to this in real time, this episode is launching right as we head into Valentine's, so it's topical. Every store you go to is decked out with roses and hearts and all the cards, and I gotta tell you, it's not the funnest thing when you're going through a divorce. And I realize that this may be a strange episode to release as a person who's going through divorce, but here's the thing. I have spent a lot of time reflecting, thinking, reading my Bible, listening to sermons, attending YouTube University. I think I've watched literally every video I can possibly watch on breakups, by the way. And I've also spent a lot of time having conversations with people, asking for advice, observing other people and their marriages and relationships, and all of this has brought me to the question, what is love? What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. Sorry. Anyway, but really, what is love? Is it a feeling? Is it a state of mind? Is it a commandment? Is it just a word we say when we feel comfortable? What does it truly mean to love someone? Lots of questions, and y'all know I am all about the questions. And I think the best place to start, not surprisingly either, is 1 Corinthians 13. Known as the love chapter. I think I read this every day, multiple times a day, last year for almost 2 months straight. So I've really had a lot of time to just think about it, mull it over, meditate on it, and what that means to really put it into practice. Also, I really like comparing different translations because it just deepens the meaning for me. So the KJV compared to the NIV, compared to the ESV, all similar, yet some key differences I've noticed, but it's just a beautiful chapter of the Bible. And I encourage you to, on your own time, to read it. Read it in different translations, write it on a sticky note and tape it to your bathroom mirror. Read it every day. You will find that every day you will look at it differently. It will come alive to you. And that's the cool thing about the Bible. It's a living word. Anyway, So I could spend a lot of time talking about this chapter, and perhaps, I'll do a follow-up and a breakdown of other pieces, but for now, I really want to focus specifically on verses 4 through 8. It's probably the most popular and quotable verses from this chapter. So let me read this and then we're going to break it down, okay? Okay. 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 8. Love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. And that is the ESV, by the way, and that was, I cut off part of verse 8, but that's because it kind of goes into a whole new train of thought. So anyway, it's quite beautiful. I think it's funny because Paul had no idea that he was literally writing a Hallmark card. Maybe that's just me. Here are 3 main points I want to focus on that can answer the question, what is love? Point number 1, love is patient. Patience is a learned skill. Patience is about self-control and is an act of waiting. To be patient with someone means that you are not rushing or pushing them for a certain outcome. You're not allowing your emotions and your needs to hijack their life. You're waiting on them without negatively reacting. This isn't easy. It would be really easy, though, to pull in some common scenario where, you get impatient with your spouse because you're trying to get out the door on time and they're holding you up and you become impatient and you start arguing and yada, yada, yada. But I want to go deeper than this because being patient isn't just about the day-to-day. It's not just getting out of the door on time or waiting on your spouse to get out of the shower or waiting on all those little things that make up the everyday of marriage and relationships. No. Patience is also about allowing your spouse the space to make their own decisions and figure things out on their own, to grow in their own time. You wouldn't yell at a flower to grow faster after you planted it. You understand that things take time to grow. You have patience. So patience is not pressuring them to do what you want to do when you want to do it. It's allowing them to make mistakes and not punishing them for it. Bear with me. In the KJV, instead of saying love is patient, it says love is long-suffering. Long-suffering. And indeed, when you look up the definition of patient, it means bearing or enduring pain, difficulty, annoyance with calmness. It means having calm endurance, being tolerant, being understanding through the pain, suffering a long time. That is love. Especially if you love someone with an addiction, someone that's suffering all on their own, this can be very hard. It can be hard to be patient with someone who does not want your help, who doesn't want anyone's help. They don't want to do things your way. They want to do things their way. And we can grow very weary when we feel like we're carrying the burden of other people. It can feel like a very heavy backpack that you just cannot set down. And we can grow impatient. But here's the thing. The Bible says that love is patience. It's about suffering right along with the person we love, which I believe is why Paul writes next that love is kind. It does not boast and it's not rude. It holds no records of wrongs, because if we are not kind to our spouses and we become arrogant and rude and we hold things over them, we can cause a domino effect of even more pain and more suffering, unnecessary suffering. We can get stuck on the merry-go-round of he said, she said, he did, she did, he is, she is. The list goes on and on. When you're with someone a long time, we can get stuck on that merry-go-round. We can lose sight of what's really important. We can lose empathy for our spouses. We can grow impatient when things don't change. We can even lose hope. But Paul is encouraging us to be patient and kind, to be calm and endure through the pain. Why would he say this? What do you think? Personally, I think that long suffering with another person creates opportunities for deeper intimacy. But this means that both parties have to be willing to be patient, be kind, not hold the other in contempt or be arrogant and rude. Each side has to have emotional control, be emotionally safe for their partner, and be willing to carry each other's burdens. Point number 2, love is truth. One of the foundations of love is truth and honesty. Maybe that's why they call it true love, because it's based on truth and not lies. Just a thought. When you love someone, you don't want to be dishonest with them. You want to share the truth. You want to be transparent and honest and take accountability for your mistakes. You don't hide things from your spouse. Withholding information is a form of lying. A good example of honesty would be that you don't hide your phone or hide conversations you've had with other people or hide interactions you've had. You don't sneak around. Because let's get one thing clear, it's a slippery slope. Satan knows how to get his foot in the door. All he has to do is get you to cover up one text conversation, hide one phone call, tell one lie, and then it will lead to another and another. And before you know it, you're walking down the path of deception and you're rejoicing in wrongdoing. You're thinking only of yourself and how things will benefit you. Verse 6 says, love does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. And that means we don't feel good about doing wrong or causing harm to our spouse, physically or emotionally. We don't lie, cheat, steal, hurt, abuse, or take advantage of our beloved for our own selfish gain. We don't manipulate the facts because we're trying to control the narrative. We don't push the blame onto our spouses to justify our hurtful actions. Because when you lie to your spouse to cover up your wrongdoing and you try to make it their fault instead of taking accountability, you are not loving them. You are not rejoicing with the truth. Love is about accountability. It's about being responsible. Being responsible means we tell the truth no matter what. And this means that we are honest about interactions we have. This means that we do not keep secrets from our spouses. This means that if we are struggling with an addiction, we allow our spouse into the space with us. We are honest with them instead of sneaking around behind their back. It's not just about being truthful about our feelings and telling our spouse our feelings. It's being truthful about our actions. It's rejoicing in transparency, in honesty. Love does not hide in the dark. Love is not built on a lie. Love is not secrecy. Love is truth. And point number 3, love is a choice. Verse 7 and 8 says, love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. Or, love never fails. To truly love someone, that means you are willing to walk with this person no matter what happens. Of course, I realize there are psychos out there. So, not saying we should be okay with murderers or crazy people. Just want to put that out there. But I find it interesting that when people get married, they are so happy to say all these vows that apparently no one really takes seriously. Weddings these days feel like a big show, a social media brag, not like a creation of a covenant with vows. A vow is a promise to love someone in sickness and in health, for better or for worse, till death do us part. And sadly, most people don't actually mean that. They think sickness means getting the sniffles and bringing each other chicken soup, you know? You're not standing at the altar thinking sickness in the form of addiction or mental unrest or midlife crisis, by the way. For better or for worse may as well be for better or until I get tired of dealing with your BS. But the Bible is very clear that love, true love, real love, is a choice. It bears all. It endures even through the toughest times, the hardest moments. It trusts. It believes it can overcome any obstacle that gets in the way. It hopes, which is the foundation of our faith. Love is not a feeling. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't feel attracted to your spouse, not at all. Of course, real love, kingdom love, comes along with many feelings. But what I mean by that is people confuse lust with love. They think that their partner should continue to lust after them well into the relationship. Here's the difference, though. Lust is about satisfying our own fleshly desires. Love is about sacrifice. Jesus loved us. He loves us. And that's why he gave the ultimate sacrifice on the cross. That's why he asked Peter in John 21, Peter, do you love me? Are you willing to bear all things, believe, hope, endure, no matter what happens? Do you love me? If you love me, follow me. We often don't love the way the Bible tells us to love. And in marriage, we can get so hung up on all the little things, all the worldly things, that we forget what love actually means. Love means we choose to walk this out with our spouses even when we don't want to, even when times get so hard and things get so difficult that we want to quit. And listen, I realize that you may be saying, Randy, what the heck do you know? You're getting divorced. Yup, I am. But here's the thing about divorce. You know, you do a lot of reflection. At least I hope so. I do. I am. And I can certainly look back and see where I made mistakes. I can only take accountability for my side of the street, my actions. And you know, sometimes you don't see clearly when you're too close to it. It's only after the fact, when you back away, that you can actually see things clearly for the first time. It's like those pointillism paintings. Up close, it's just a bunch of dots. You don't see the full picture until you step back and you take a good look at it. Anyway, to wrap it up, love is choosing to suffer for a long time, to have self-control over our emotions and keep calm. Love is treating each other with kindness and respect. It's a choice. It's seeing that your spouse is a flawed human, but choosing to stick by them anyway, not abandoning them, because you see the value in walking it out, even in the darkest seasons. It's telling the truth, being honest, and taking accountability for your mistakes. It's giving the other person the dignity to make their own decisions and make their own mistakes. It's holding on to hope even when things appear hopeless, because love never fails. So I hope this was helpful to you today. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel on YouTube at Randy Tisdale. You can also head over to brokentoblessed.com and sign up for my email so you can get encouragement and updates about the podcast. I pray you have a blessed day, and I'll catch you next time.